to go whenever you guys are. Well, good afternoon everybody, and welcome along to Zandvoort for our third and final race of the weekend for the Dunlop Mini Challenges, whether it be the Mini Miglias, the Libras, the Mini 7s or the Mini S-Class, all supported by Mini Spares. We've got our third and final race coming up now. This grid is based upon the finishing positions for race number 2. However, the top 8 in each one of those classes are reversed, so as they head off on their formation lap, you should be able to go I do that line up for round 11 of the championship that's coming up in just a few moments' time. So off goes the safety car. The rest of the field will then make its way around the track, and then we are looking forward to a 20-minute race for this one. There might be a few little gaps, as you can see on the grid. That's because we have had a few retirements over the course of the weekend. We had 3 earlier on in race 1, but there were several retirements, like 6-7 retirements in race 2 earlier on today. Hopefully some of those cars are out and repaired. Others, however, I would imagine, due to the damage that was done to some of them, are probably done for the weekend, I'm afraid. So you can see there are a few gaps throughout what is still a very, very full grid indeed. Nice warm conditions here. It's 19-20 degrees over here in the Netherlands. However, it is rather windy, to say the least, which means that if we get a rain cloud coming in, it will soon quickly blow its way through. So off they go on their formation lap, and then we should be able to go down to try and build as much temperature as they can. Slick tyres in the case of the Miglias and the Libras, and the treaded tyres in the case of the 7s and the Mini 7 S-Class. So the man who starts from pole position, that black and the yellow car, is Gordon Pocock. He came so close to winning in the changeable conditions that we had yesterday, however made a mistake and put the car off the road. Did recover to finish in 4th place, but that was huge frustration for him. And he would have been on for his first podium in the club championship since 1994, and I think it would have been his first ever race win had he been able to take it, but it wasn't to be yesterday. We'll find out today as to whether that might be the case. So I'm hoping we can bring you a grid graphic that will come up and allow you to go through the grid as the cars work their way around what is the full Grand Prix layout. So it's 2.646 miles. That is just under 4. Of course, this is the subtly redesigned Zandvoort, redesigned for 2020 onwards, with in particular that banked section through Harry Lyondijk, which is the final corner. So Gordon Pocock and Colin Peacock on the front row of the grid. James Cuthbertson and Jeff Smith will sit there on row number 2. And it's Rupert Death, not in his usual colour of car, the silver and the orange car, but in this new black car that he's got for this weekend. Lying up alongside Ben Colburn on row number 3. Former British Touring Car champion Andrew Jordan has got more Mini Miglia champion Aaron Smith for company on row number 4. Kane Aston, former champion, also sits there on row number 5 with Sean King alongside him. Mark Sims and Johnny Kent line up there on row number 6. With James Colburn and Robert Humphries on 7. Phil Harvey and Julian Proctor on row number 8. Les Stanton and Hugh Turner on row 9. Richard Colburn on his own on row number 10. Now that is all of the Miglias and the Libras for the Mini 7s goes the way of Graham Davis. So at the wheel of his number 6 car, he will have alongside him Paul Woodbridge. Damien Harrington and Darren Thomas will be the next couple. But after that, I think then we end up heading Glenn Woodbridge and Joe Thompson line up. Joe going well in the race earlier on, but contact dropped him down through the order. Conor O'Brien and Spencer Wadsall next up. Joe Polly and Andrew King. Mike Jordan has Ross Billison for company, and it's Stephen Hopper on his own on the 19th row of the grid because retirees alongside him, and then the whole of row 20 is missing. Row 21 is where we start to get the S-classes coming in, which is Stuart Gilby alongside Dave Rees, Eddie Hack and Chris Pryor. Jonathan Page and Fraser Hack should be the 2 cars towards the tail end of the field. Now what we'll do is we'll get, you didn't see the race earlier on, we'll have the lights go out, and when the lights go out it will be the Libras that go away, and then for the Mini 7s and the Mini 7S class there'll be a subtle delay, and then about 10-20 seconds later they will get their race underway as well. So it is 4 classes it is a single race, but you could argue it's two races within one, because we get the first batch of cars off and then we'll get the second batch of cars off. So you can see sunshine here in the Netherlands at Circuit Zandvoort. And it's Gordon Pocock's number 15 car, the black car with the yellow flashes to it, sits there on pole position with the London-based driver Colin Peacock lining up alongside. James Cuthbertson will be hoping for good things at the wheel of the number 37 car, the Bomford Turner Limited back car on row number 3, and he has got alongside him the car of Jeff Smith, 3 times a Mini 7 champion, stepping up last year to the Miglia class where he finished 4th overall in the championship. And that question is probably going to be a driver to watch, because of course he retired from the first race of the weekend. Red lights are on. Let's go. Doesn't get a bad start at all. Colin Peacock a little bit slower away. James Cuthbertson is trying to cover off Jeff Smith and just gets the nose of the blue car through and ahead of the multiple Mini 7 champion. And Rupert Deeth trying around all the way around the outside at Tarzan. The black number 23 car going wheel towards James Cuthbertson, but could not quite make it stick. So it's Gordon Pocock that leads. From in second place Colin Peacock. Aaron Smith is already through into 4th position, with then Rupert Deeth looking for 5th, but diving up the inside comes the number 77 car of Mike Jordan as they start to twist their way through Hooker Holtz and then start to build the speeds as they head through Rob Sloterbacker and then start to weave their way up towards Skyflack. The next batch of cars get going, and this is the 7s and the S-Class that get away, and by the look of things it's a good start from Graham Davis, and he is just about, is he going to hang on to the lead as they head down into Tarzan? 3 wide by the look of things as they head up towards that part of circuit, and the 50 car that just comes out ahead by the look of things, so that is through and into the early lead of the race. But it looks as though Conor O'Brien is going to now try and squeeze his way through, so Darren Thomas couldn't quite make it stick in the end. Everybody safely through the first few corners. Watch out for the number 80 car of Joe Thompson, arguably one of the quicker drivers in the field, but he's going to have to work his way through the order if he wants to try and gain places after that contact earlier on. Joe Thompson was lying second in the Mini 7 standings coming into this weekend, but back to the Miglias, and now James Cuthbertson is in full attack mode as they start to head further round through the lap. Does he outbrake himself? No, he goes through and ahead of Colin Peacock, who drops down into 3rd place and is now under pressure from Mike Jordan, who sits behind. Aaron Smith looking to try and press on. He is at the moment, by the look of things, running very well indeed, and has managed to build a gap between himself and the rest of the pack. Back to what's going on in the main mid. He was on pole, the yellow car with the black boot to it, which is Graham Davis, has dropped a long way down through the order. It certainly looks as though it's Conor O'Brien from then Darren Thomas. And Graham Davis has slipped down to something like 4th or 5th in class, bounces and clatters over the curbs on the exit of the corner, and that will drop him ever more now into the clutches of the car with its lights on, which is going to be a white car with the red roof on it, in the hands of the man from Leicestershire, Joe Thompson, who's going to squeeze his way through here, take the place away, and I think that's going to be the number 5 that's also in the hands of Glenn Woodbridge, going to squeeze through as well. Yeah, so another couple of places lost there for Graham Davis. He's now feeling the pinch ever more, because there are more queues coming up behind him, and that, I think, Spencer Wanstall, the winner of the Mini 7 race from earlier on today, who's looking now to try and squeeze his way through. Spencer, who has, I don't think, ever won the championship. No, he's finished runner-up on several occasions, 2016, 2018, 2021, Spencer Wanstall, but number 73 car going well after a disappointing start to the season for him when the season got underway in the Midlands back in the UK. Now back to the Miglias once more. Jeff Smith up the inside there of the blue car of James Cuthbertson. So that is place gained. Aaron Smith leading the way at this stage and looking to try and pull away. Colin Peacock looking to see what he might be able to do. In fact, Colin Peacock, I think, has dropped a little bit further down through the order, but the number 21 in the hands of Aaron Smith has really opened up the gap now. Aaron is a 3 times champion in the Miglia class and is pushing hard in the early stages. He's broken the toe on everybody behind, and now what he'll want to do is maintain the gap that exists between himself and the car that's now up into 2nd position, which looks as if it's Andrew Jordan who's there into 2nd place. 20-minute race. We've got 16 minutes still to go. All of the cars completed a couple of laps so far. Back towards what's going on in the 7s, and we'll pick up on the Mini 7 S-Class as well in a few moments' time. Joe Thompson squeezes his way through and ahead of what looks like Damien Harrington. So that was a position gained there. In fact, I think that was Darren Thomas actually, but another place gained for Joe Thompson there. That is going to put him up in, no, it was Damien Harrington, so he's now up into, what would that be, third in the Mini 7s at this stage. Back to the Miglias, we're almost 3 wide here because Andrew Jordan is feeling the squeeze from Jeff Smith. Kane Aston is in there as well, and then the number 55 car of Ben Colburn is not too far away, so a brilliant battle this is at the moment. Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth as the speeds start to build once more. Mini 7 S class we briefly caught a glimpse of there. Down in towards braking out goes Paul Woodbridge, looking to try and keep the number 76 of Joe Polly at bay. And then just off that, by the look of things, is Andy Hack fighting away with his son Fraser Hack. Now, I think at the moment that would be for the lead of the S class as well. The yellow car with a black roof will be Fraser Hack. And remember, Andy Hack is a Miglia champion as well some years ago. Hacky, good to see him back in the championship once more. Lots of slipstreaming down the straight as you would expect, and by the look of things, are we going to see Spencer Wunsell jink out from behind the slipstream? No, Mike Jordan does at the inside of Damien Harrington as they head in towards Tarzan. Place gained. Hayden's braking there by the look of things for, I think that was Graham Davis who was struggling to get the car anchored up there heading in towards Tarzan. Just the unlocked wheel just failing to rotate as he needed it to, but got the moment gathered up. The man who started from the front row of the grid has now dropped a long way down through the order in terms of the Mini 7 category, whilst the Mini 7 S class cars are still picking their way through the order at the moment. That's Paul Woodbridge that's now been passed by the Hack family. Rob Humphreys is being kept rather busy further down through the order. He has got Hugh Turner, and then it's Julian Proctor. So this is going to be for second and third of the Libras. Back towards Tarzan we go, and for second, third and fourth overall in the race they are still together. Andrew Jordan still hanging on to second place. Remember, Aaron Smith leads the way at this stage. Andrew Jordan running well in second position at the wheel of the number 77 car, the 2013 British Touring Car champion. He was also the Mini Miglia champion back in 2021. He's got Jeff Smith with him, and Jeff Smith gets a slower exit coming out of the corner, which allows Kane Aston to draw himself alongside as they start to work their way up towards Rob Slodemacher. The twists and turns and the gradient change that you get through that part of the circuit. And then as they start to head downhill through the off-camber exit of Skyflat, you could see just the tail end of Kane Aston's car there on the very edge of Adhesion, asking a lot of those Dunlop tyres. 13 minutes to go into third place. Jeff Smith down into fourth. Ben Colburn not that far away in fifth place. So Rupert Death is now up into sixth. The man from Cambridge, James Cuthbertson, in the blue number 37 car, drops down outside of the top six, I think, for the first time. So Andrew Jordan, you can see just exactly how far the gap is between himself and Aaron Smith. Last time they came over the start-finish line, Aaron Smith was leading by 2.6 seconds, and now Andrew Jordan is starting to pull away from those behind. Back to the lead squabble going on in the main Mini 7 class, and Darren Thomas is second in the Mini 7 class behind that number 1 car in the hands of the reigning Mini 7 champion, which is Conor O'Brien. Conor O'Brien has opened up quite a handsome lead really, now nearly 4 seconds, 3 3/4 seconds between himself and the second place car in the main Mini 7 class. And the reason he's opened up that gap is because Darren Thomas in the green machine, number 50, feel the pressure that's building from him. He's got Joe Thompson right behind him. Joe looking to try and bounce back after those problems late on in the race earlier on. Mike Jordan also looking to see if he can squeeze his way through and ahead of the number 5 car of Glenn Woodbridge. Can't quite as yet make that stick. Now has Joe Thompson got the overlap here? Not sure he has. He's got the inside line. Is he going to go through? Darren Thomas gives him breathing room and should be able to go through. Yeah, in the background looks as though he's made it stick there. All of this will please Conor O'Brien whilst they're squabbling behind, because he could just simply pull away all of the time in the lead of the main Mini 7 class, and that will do his championship aspirations no harm at all. He had a terrible start to the season, and well, I say his championship aspirations, you drop your 3 worst scores and he's already had 5 terrible scores, so he's not really ever going to be in the championship hunt, but he's Arga Drivers being the reigning champion. Now can Joe Thompson, now he's up to second in the Mini 7s, pull away from Darren Thomas behind? That's the next big question. Mike Jordan has finally managed to squeeze his way through past the blue machine of Glenn Woodbridge, and now Glenn Woodbridge, having lost one place, is under pressure and is in danger of losing another because he's got Spencer Wansell right behind him. Spencer, who's not had a win so far this year, 7 podiums, but not a win as yet. Over the start-finish side they'll go. We're now at the halfway point of this race, as good as 10.5 minutes to go. Another lap chalked into the book. You can see Mike Jordan is the man who is now punching the hole in the air for everybody that's behind him. Blue car, the number 5 is Glenn Woodbridge, followed by then the 73, which is Spencer Wansell, and then a little bit of a gap off that is Ross Billison, and then the green machine in the hands of Damien Harrington with Joe Polly and Graham Davis, the next of the runners in the Mini 7 class. Still leading the S class, by the way, is Andy Hack, still at the moment, which is Fraser Hack. The gap between the pair of them was just half a second when they completed the previous lap. So through Rob Slotemacher again. Kane Aston still under pressure for 3rd place. Not that far behind Andrew Jordan in 2nd place, but has really got Jeff Smith breathing down his neck as they start to turn their way out of Hooker Hunts and then up towards Rob Slotemacher, which is the sort of left and right kink that brings them back uphill towards almost the highest point of the circuit, which is Sky Flack. From there it sort of descends back downhill once more. And now, before too much longer, we'll start to get traffic as well. Aaron Smith already starting to weave his way at the wheel of the race leading number 21 car through and past some of the traffic. Now that's Damien Harrington there. Did he appear to be going a little bit slower there? The green, he's staying well and truly out of the way. Problems by the look of things for Damien Harrington. He is not circulating at the kind of pace that you would expect. He'd been picked off by a few people, and I'm afraid his race may well be run. Kane Aston flashing his light to try and forewarn some of the slower cars that he's looking to try and come through. He's lost a bit more ground to the car ahead of him, the number 77 car in the hands of the 2021 champion Andrew Jordan through the traffic. He hasn't equally been able to get rid of the attentions of Jeff Smith that sits behind. And for the lead of the Mini 7S class, we've also had a change as well by the look of things, because the yellow car with the black roof is Fraser Hack, and he's gone through and ahead of his father now, Andy Hack. So Fraser will look to try and overtake the next yellow car ahead of him, which is Graham Davis. And then Joe Polly in the blue car with the pink roof would be the next for our Mini 7S class leader. There goes Fraser Hack, sneak his way up the inside of the Mini 7S class leader go through. So Hackey Junior ahead of Hackey Senior, and having done that, they've also now got Aaron Smith bearing down on them, the overall race leader, sliding his way so beautifully, so controlled through that section of the circuit, which was Gerlach, and then up towards Hooker Hunts for Aaron Smith. He'll be wanting to maintain this 3-second advantage that he's got between himself and the chasing pack that's behind. This is a fight going on further down through the order. This is James Colburn, who is fighting away with Sean King's machine. Rob Humphrey is busy squabbling away with Julian Proctor. Now, Rob Humphrey is in a Miglia, Julian Proctor is in a Libra class car, and Julian Proctor, we think at the moment, second of those Libras. Let's just have a quick look. Yes, he's third of the Libras at the moment, I do apologise. Now Joe Thompson, the number 80 car, has made good progress in this race at the moment. He's got himself ahead of Darren Thomas a few laps ago, hasn't really pulled away, but he has got enough of a buffer at the moment. Darren Thomas will still be picking up a little bit of the tow from the car ahead of him, but he'll also be conscious that he's got weaving round behind him Mike Jordan. So, quick replay of Jeff Smith and Kane Aston working their way through the traffic. As over the start-finish line comes Conor O'Brien, our Mini 7 class leader at this stage, proudly wearing the number 1. So they had an awful start to the championship season. He's only posted prior to this 2 race finishes. That just goes to show how awful the first 8 rounds of the championship have been for the defending champion. But this weekend so far has gone better. He finished second in the first race of the weekend. He was second in the second race of the weekend. Could be on for his first win of the championship season. He already had another second place. That came at Thruxton before they headed over to mainland Europe. But for Conor O'Brien, remember, as the reigning champion in the Mini 7s, you would have thought he'd be the man to beat, but he's just not had the rub of the green this season. And if he can claim his first win of the season, he'll be leaving the Netherlands a hugely, hugely happy man. And Mike Jordan has now... Sorry, Andrew Jordan. Mike Jordan's now got himself ahead of Joe Thompson. So that's a change for position. Aaron Smith bearing down on them as well in the lead of the race with 5. So wherever you look, there are scores to be settled, battles to be had, and in the case of Aaron Smith, our overall race leader, the number 21 car, traffic to be dealt with, but he's now past those cars that are running at the sharp end of the Mini 7S class. So he's got past the car that runs, what is it, second, third and fourth in the Mini 7 class. Mike Jordan still under pressure from Joe Thompson. Darren Thomas in the green car in the background just falling away a little bit more. He's got traffic that's just about to weave his way through and past him. That's Andrew Jordan. And then Jeff Smith is now ahead of Kane Aston. Those two have been fighting tooth and nail for that place. Spencer Wanstall in the 73 has also made further progress because he's now got himself ahead of Glenn Woodbridge in the number 5 car. So that will now put Spencer Wanstall up to something like first, second, third, fourth, fifth in the class at this stage. The start-finish line, Jeff Smith flashing his lights to forewarn Darren Thomas that he's coming through. Aston takes the opportunity in the sad lettings back machine in the hands of the former champion to squeeze his way through as well. Kane is a former champion not just in the Mini Miglias, which he's racing now, but also in the Mini 7 class, and he almost had an opportunity to sneak up the inside there, but the 2015 champion could not make it through. So at the moment it's 3 times Mini 7 champion Jeff Smith that's just hanging on to the place. He's got the 2009 Mini 7 champion Kane Aston right behind him, and Kane Aston's made it through. He's utilised the traffic, he's utilised Mike Jordan, and has gone through back up into what will now be third position, sideways as he chucks the car round through the corner. It's all about momentum in these cars. You can get them a little bit sideways. It does scrub off a little bit of the speed, but you've got to get back on the power again just to keep that momentum going. Both Kane Aston and Jeff Smith are well used to racing minis of all shapes and sizes, whether they be Appendix K cars, historic cars, or whether it be 7s or Miglias. They know exactly how to get the very best performance out of them. Now, there is, by the look of things, Andrew Jordan ever more disappearing up the road, isn't he? So in second place, Andrew Jordan has gapped these two behind now quite significantly. They're about 2 seconds back on the number 77 car of Andrew Jordan, who is still 3.7 seconds back from the overall race leader, which is Aaron Smith. Aaron Smith got that break early on, and he certainly has not looked back, really. Out of the box nice and quickly, and for Aaron Smith, fresh from a win earlier on today, he could be looking to scoop up another win. He's already had 2 wins so far this season, but he has been hugely consistent. Now Jeff Smith gets the tow from Kane Aston. He should work his way third place overall as they head up towards Tarzan, and Kane Aston slowing by the look of things in the background. Problems for the man from Cambridge, and it looks as though we are going to see Kane Aston out of the race, are we? Rupert Death goes through and past him, and Kane Aston, on the exit of Tarzan at pit lane exit, is going to pull the number 11 car off and out of the race, I'm afraid. So second in the first race of the weekend. He was 9th earlier on today, but he's not going to pick up a great deal of championship points in this one, I'm afraid. So Kane Aston out of the race, and now that promotes Rupert Death, the number 23 car, up into 4th position. But for Aaron Smith, he is looking absolutely untouchable in this one. He got that break nice and early on, and has been no looking back from there. The man who won 3 championships back-to-back, 2018, 2019 and 2008. He was runner-up in the Miglia category last year, as he was the year before as well in 2021. He's been a runner-up 3 times, he's been a champion 3 times, and at the moment This is going to be a good result for him because he was leading the championship coming into this weekend. 2 wins and a third would go a long way to making sure that it's going to be tight at the top, particularly when you take dropped scores into account, but that would be a solid weekend for the Kent Auto Development's back driver, with races still to come, 2 of them at Brands Hatch at the Mini Festival, then Croft in North Yorkshire and Silverstone on the international circuit are the final 2 rounds, 14 rounds, so you drop your 3 worst scores. And there's Mike Jordan. Mike Jordan's off and in the gravel. Not quite sure what has happened there, but that would be a very, very uncharacteristic mistake for Mike Jordan. Maybe there's a little bit of traffic. Maybe there was some quicker cars coming through, but that's to have gone off by the look of things for Mike. And that car is stricken and going nowhere at the moment. Might be able to get a quick replay of it, but for the moment he is going absolutely nowhere, I'm afraid. And that will be a bitter pill to swallow for Mike, who won in the Mini 7 category, the first race of the weekend. But for Aaron Smith, he is on his last lap of the race and is looking as though he is on for win number 3 of the championship season. Aaron Smith is about to very shortly come round Ari Lyondike, which will be the final corner, and 2 wins out of the 3 races, and in fact podiums in all of the races is exactly what he wants. Still waved yellow flags on the approach to Tarzan because of the stricken car of Mike Jordan, whatever happened there. So there's no overtaking as these remaining cars head on to their final lap of the race. There's Graham Davis, the number 6 car, who says starter Fraser Hack. So he in the yellow and the black car is heading towards victory in what will be the Mini 7S class. There's Graham Davis, who race didn't quite really pan out the way he wanted. But for Aaron Smith, nearly a 5-second advantage for him is exactly what he wants. And there's a few areas where we've got waved yellow flags, so a few sections with little overtaking to be done. Still work to be done though. There's Conor O'Brien. He is looking as though he has now secured victory potentially in the main Mini 7 category. Running in 16th position. Still got cars looking to try and squeeze their way through and past him. But here comes Aaron Smith. Aaron Smith takes the flag and takes his 3rd win of the championship season in round 11 of the Mini Miglia Challenge, supported by many spares. It'll be Andrew Jordan who comes through in 2nd place, and Jeff Smith flashing the lights will complete the overall podium in this one. Rupert Deeth is through in 4th position. It should be James Cuthbertson that comes through in 5th place. He takes a checker flag now, chased all of the way to the start finish line by Colin Peacock, who wasn't that far behind. And then we arrive with the next few cars over the start finish line, which is going to be Mark Sims, James Colburn, and then Sean King, all very much together for 7th, 8th and 9th position. Richard Colburn in the 219 car should take the Libra class. We didn't really see a lot of Richard in that race, but he largely led it for the vast majority. Yes, he comes through now, and subject to official confirmation will be the winner of the Libra class. And then that will also complete the top 10 for him. Gordon Pocock, who started from pole, finishes in 11th place. And there goes Fraser Hack, so that's a win for him in the Mini 7S class. From his father, Fraser will be more than pleased with that one. Maybe moves him a little bit closer in the championship standings to the absent Matt Ayres for this weekend, and Jonathan Page, who took a win in the Mini 7S class earlier on today. So for Fraser Hack, that's now his 4th win of the season in the Mini 7S class, and something like his 7th podium now in that category as well, so he'll be delighted with that one. And on the slow down lap, himself and his dad, Andy, congratulating each other. Andy Hack, remember, is a 3 times Mini 7 champion, or Mini Miglia champion I should say. So we should hopefully be able to confirm some results for you very, very shortly, and you can see the results will be coming up shortly. But a few highlights of the race. I said it's a breezy day. The Seagulls are struggling to keep with the wind. We did see a spin for Gordon Pocock there as well, briefly as well, which gives us an indication as to why he had dropped so through the order. So the rest of the cars all now making their way around. We can have a look at a few of the highlights of the race. Some good battles going on all the way round through the order. That's the warm-up lap that we were looking at there. But for everybody else, they'll be making their way back in. I think we'll have a look at a few of the highlights of the race very shortly as the cars head round on their slowing down lap. So when the lights went out, Gordon Pocock originally got a good start and was being chased up towards Tarzan the first corner by Colin Peacock, whilst alongside it looked as though Jeff Smith was trying to weave his way through into third position. He dropped down to fourth, but then at the wheel of the back car, Darton was able to work his way through to fourth position. Gordon Pocock was leading earlier on. Aaron Smith was looking to try and carve his way through the order. Graham Davis was looking to try and pick up the lead in the Mini 7s when their lights went out, but it wasn't to be. Then for Gordon Pocock, all of a sudden he's getting picked off the pole sitter by a few people, including Aaron Smith, who took the lead of the Miglia race earlier on and was fairly unstoppable from there. In the Mini 7s, then it was Conor O'Brien that took the early lead in that one, but was under pressure from Darren Thomas and the lighter green car of Damien Harrington in the early stages. But Damien Harrington would suffer mechanical problems and would drop down through the order. There was a spin very early on for Stuart Gilby, who managed to finally gather up the moment without the car fully rotating and was able to continue. Our pole sitter in the 7s at the wheel of the number 6 car, Graham Davis, ran wide and really bounced over the curbs and unsettled himself, and for the rest of the race just kept getting picked off sadly into the order. And ultimately finished much further down than he would have wished. He also was struggling a little bit coming up towards Tarzan, where he was snatching the brakes on the unloaded wheel. Bit of cadence braking, finally got him there. He would continue, but he would ultimately finish down in 25th position in the end. But in the Miglias, the battle was really formed. Andrew Jordan was leading a trio of cars fighting over second, third and fourth place. Jeff Smith fighting away with also Kane Aston, and whilst they were squabbling, that was the opportunity for Andrew Jordan, the former British Touring Car champion and 2021 Miglia champion, just to pull away. Spencer Wadstall was getting involved in a great fight with Glenn Woodbridge, whilst Mike Jordan was trying to go all the way around the outside at Tarzan Corner. They were fighting for places at the sharp end of the 7s, and Les Stanton came into the pit lane. Retirement for him, for the driver that finished second in the Libra category earlier on over the course of the day. Over the start-finish line, Jeff Smith had another little nibble at Kane Aston as they came into the braking area for Tarzan. And the two other enough room, Jeff Smith and Kane Aston both cocking a wheel as they apexed the right-hander. Kane Aston would look to try and hang on to it. Damien Harrington suffered problems at the wheel of the number 29 car that was going so well in the early stages. He would limp his way round to the pit lane. And for Fraser Hack, having taken up the lead of the Mini 7 S-Class, he was now having to deal with some of the Mini 7s that he had caught, stuck at the inside of Graham Davis's car as he went in towards Tarzan. The squabble between Jeff Smith and Kane Aston still continued. There was no let-up in the pressure, and the two of those would continue that battle right the way until Kane Aston sadly retired. Long time and stalwart of the club, Phil Harvey, out for another go at the wheel of the number 113 car. He would run mid-order and would ultimately come through and finish just off the podium in the Libra category. But then, of course, the traffic plays the part. Lots of flashing of lights for Jeff Smith. Couldn't afford to be compromised by Darren Thomas, who saw him coming and moved out of the way, as did Joe Thompson at the wheel of the number 80 car. By his fingertips, hang on to third overall. And all of this was just allowing Andrew Jordan to pull away in second place. Kane Aston finally made it back through and ahead of Jeff Smith, but it was all ultimately going to be to no avail as his car failed him later on in the race. Over the start-finish line once more, the slipstreaming takes effect. Through comes Jeff Smith, and there you can see Kane Aston's car slowing down. Mechanical woes with his car means he would not get much further than the exit of the next corner before the former champion would be forced to retire. Gordon Pocock was still looking to see what he could do after a great run in changeable conditions yesterday. Just didn't happen for him, and a rather frustrated Kane Aston got out of his car, whilst also a very frustrated Mike Jordan, by the look of things, pitched into a spin, would retire the number 88 car at the very edge of the circuit, just in the gravel trap. A disappointing end to the weekend for him. So he walks away from his stricken car localised yellow flags to forewarn all of the drivers for the remainder of the race that car was very close to the edge of the track, but it would be Aaron Smith that would come through to claim his second win of the weekend, his third win of the 2023 championship season, and it would mean he would be on the podium in every single race that we've had so far this weekend at Zandvoort. He will be absolutely delighted with that one. So those were the highlights of the race that we've just seen. Hopefully we'll be able to head towards the podiums very shortly, but before we can do that, let's just confirm the results for you. Aaron Smith takes the win from Andrew Jordan in second place, and Jeff Smith was there in third. Rupert Death, James Cuthbertson and Colin Peacock complete the top six, with Mark Sims in seventh, James Colburn in eighth, Sean King in ninth, and the winner of the Libra-Crass was Richard Cole's 10th position. The winner of the Mini 7s was Conor O'Brien, and the winner of the Mini 7S class there in 23rd position was car number 725, which was Fraser Hack. And you can see there, down towards the bottom of the order, a few retirees that we had. So that is round 11 done and dusted for the 2023 Mini 7 Racing Club here at Zandvoort. It's been a brilliant weekend from them, albeit the weather has been slightly changeable over the course of the 3 days that most of the competitors have been here. And fingers crossed that then we resume their championship squabbles, which will be over the course of the 5th and 6th of August at Brands Hatch on the Indy circuit there as part of the Mini Festival. We will have equally as full a grid of cars. 40 have made the trip for this weekend, and lots of support from the local Dutch Mini owners clubs as well. So great to see Mini 7 Racing Club of the Netherlands here supporting, and many Dutch fans, as ever, turn 7 Racing Club back to the Netherlands. So we're just waiting, hopefully, for some podiums to take place. We should be able to get some graphics up as well when we get our drivers up onto the 4 respective podiums that we will have, because we've got the podium for the main Mini Miglias, which will be the top 3 overall. We should have podiums also for the top 3 in the Libra category and in both the Mini 7s and the Mini 7S class. Once we've got all of our clearing up done, there's Kane Aston's car just making its way back in towards the paddock area in this fairly recently remodelled Zandvoort circuit. So it was refreshed for the 2020 championship season to bring Grand Prix racing back to the Netherlands after a gap of many years indeed. So I think we can go to the podiums now. I'm hearing in my ear, I think that's what I just said. We will not be bringing you the podiums. I apologise, we will not be bringing you the podiums for this one. So on the basis that we won't be bringing you the podiums, I think that's us done from here in Netherlands. Thank you all very much for joining us for our weekend of racing here with the return of the Mini 7 Racing Club into the Netherlands. So from myself, Mark Werrell, everybody involved in the production and the Mini 7 Racing Club, thanks for joining us. Hopefully we'll catch you again later on this season. So until next time, it's goodbye.